Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Daemon. Daemon is from San Francisco in California in the USA. So let's see what Daemon has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Hey,
Hello, how are you?
good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview today. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So, Daemon, how are you doing today? How's your day been so far?
Oh, good. It's actually a sort of warm day in San Francisco. The summertime, I'm not sure how familiar you are with San Francisco weather, but summer isn't our warm season. um, it's not cold, but it's not very warm. So today it's actually a little bit warmer than yesterday, but I'm still in a long sleeve shirt.
Daemon, and San Francisco, the place where you were born and raised?
No, I'm originally from New York, the Queens area near New York City,
Okay.
and then moved out to Long Island with my family when I was like 8. Um, and yeah, so I'm originally from the New York Long Island area.
Right. And why San Francisco?
Actually, when I was in college, everybody assumed I was from California. I guess I didn't give off the stereotypical New Yorker vibe or energy. And so I just kind of had a feeling like, okay, California sounds like a place I would get along because everybody thinks I'm already from there. And I visited LA and did not like LA. And then I visited San Francisco and I really enjoyed it out here. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And here I am, like 8 years later.
Oh, wow. Wow. And in your opinion, what do you like the most about living in San Francisco?
Um, Probably, I would say that, and I know this is like a blanket statement, so I know it's not true of all cities, but I've found that in the other cities that I've lived in, um, there, the gay community there, or the queer community, I guess I really should say, is sort of run by like a very small section of the larger community. Like everything is catered to that one section of the community. The tall, pretty, blonde, blue-eyed, white, muscular, hairless community. And I feel like San Francisco is one of the few cities where, yes, you get that, because I mean, that's the stereotype of just media in general. But San Francisco is one of the cities where I feel like a lot of our queer events really go out of their way to focus on other communities. And me being a very hairy individual, growing up, I actually had a lot of body dysmorphia around my body hair. And San Francisco is one of the first places I've lived that have helped me feel really confident and comfortable with that.
Amazing. I think living in a place where you can be yourself without
Yeah.
not much worry, it's a good place to be, isn't it? I think it's the right place to be. It feels right. And what do you do for a living, Daemon?
I work for a nonprofit here in San Francisco that it helps older adults and adults with disabilities. And it's just like advocacy work. They help get funding for different programs that help those communities. And my program specifically focuses on tech and internet access for them. So over the pandemic, I was the one teaching a lot of the seniors of San Francisco how to use Zoom so that they
Oh,
could still talk to people. Yeah.
oh, that's amazing. Right.
Yes.
Before we start our journey, Will and the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
Something. So like a random, you're just like talking about like a random like tidbit.
Anything.
Yeah. Um. Hmm. I guess just because I literally came from a performance last night, I guess on my mind right now is that I do drag. Um, my drag name is Helena Boy, and I like to do a lot of um, like playing with gender. So that's why I still have my mustache, but I shave my face completely for my drag.
Amazing. Actually, I made a note here about Helena Boy. I would like to talk a little bit more about
Oh yeah,
her
sure.
through the show, okay? Daemon, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Sure.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to get a bit in the mood before the first question. Let's do it. Okay, Tim, but before the first question, through the game, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay? Right. First question for you is, describe yourself in one positive and one negative word only.
I guess positive word would be patient. I have gotten that a lot. Negative, uh, I can be quite naive sometimes. Things go over my head sometimes. So that's the first one coming to mind, at least.
A little bit more about that. Why it's negative?
Oh, I don't know. I guess because there'll be moments where I might be oblivious to the subtext, I guess maybe, of a situation. So I guess there have been moments where I've put my foot in my mouth, or not. No, actually, not put my foot in my mouth. Just not understood the obvious thing that's happening in a situation.
See, I'm good. Good one. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Dima from San Francisco. Next question for you is, which book had a big influence on you?
Ooh. Actually, I have a good, really obscure, well, kind of obscure. I forget who wrote the book, but there was this book in high school that I read in my English class called A Separate Peace. Yeah, I wish I could remember who the author was, because I'm sure it's somebody who's relatively famous. It was one of the first books that I came across in my life that dealt with queer subtext. And it doesn't overtly, none of the characters are gay in the book, but the main character clearly is infatuated with his male best friend. And we talked about it in class. So I feel very grateful that I know nowadays, at least here in the United States, nowadays it's a big issue being able to just talk about queer things in a classroom. So that just was one of the first things that I thought of when you asked that, yeah.
And what's the biggest message you took out of the book?
Well, I guess in that moment, it was more the idea of recognizing it, because if I remember the story correctly, the main character really struggles with his feelings towards the best friend, because there's all this jealousy that's going on. Somebody gets pushed off a tree in the book because of all of this jealousy. So really, I remember the main takeaway is just the idea of not getting in the way of yourself, not being your own villain.
I see. All right. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. But before the next question, what do you like the most about your job? What's the best, the best joy of it? And of course, there's always a challenging part as well. What that would be?
Well, definitely, like as I mentioned earlier, with over the pandemic, I was one of the ones that was like really teaching a lot of these seniors how to use Zoom. So now, being so far into the pandemic and seeing their progress, there were people that, just a couple of years ago when I first met them, didn't know how to really use their device, let alone getting into Zoom. And now they're joining the exercise classes that we have on Zoom. They're joining these like writing groups that we have on Zoom. So it's actually being able to see that progress, that something I did actually, like, here's where they started and now this is the effect that I made for them. That's definitely the most rewarding because I'm actually able to see it and feel it. Yeah.
And that was the challenging part, the flip side of it.
Oh, well, the fact that I have patience comes back again. So, as I'm sure anybody who's either helped their grandparent with their phone, or any kind of technical issue, they all know that it can be challenging, and you have to make sure that you move at their pace, because just talking too quickly can just throw somebody off, because you might be using technical words that they're not familiar with. So that was definitely the challenge, because Zoom was something that nobody really knew existed before the pandemic, and now they're this big company that everybody knows about. So yeah, that was the biggest challenge, was just getting them to wrap their head around, like, what is Zoom and how could I even use it?
I see. Very good. Right. Next question for you is, when was the last time that cried and why?
Oh.
Look at your face. Oh. Oh.
I'm trying to think if there was, because like the easy go-to is like I cry during sappy movies, so I'm just trying to think of the last sappy movie that I cried in. Because otherwise I don't. Oh no, wait. Actually, never mind. Bringing it back to my drag. I had a mini little like mental breakdown over my eyebrows. Because anybody who's ever attempted to do drag can tell you eyes in general are the hardest part of makeup. And I really hated what I did with my eyebrows one particular day. It was like a week ago. And yeah, I kind of had a moment, and I just like sat there with a tissue dabbing because I was like, I'm not gonna ruin my makeup, but I'm having a moment.
Does it happen a lot or no? Just sometimes?
No, crying really only like I was saying, like a sappy movie can get. I feel like I'm a very like empathetic and sympathetic kind of person, so like seeing someone cry will often kind of get me teary-eyed. So usually if I'm crying, it's because of like a little bit of a tear because of a movie that I'm watching. It would take like a bigger emotional thing to get me to like cry over something in real life. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Let's do it. Right, before the next one, so tell a little bit about Helena Boy, how she was born, how did everything started?
Well, she's been actually quite a few years in the making. I just from like conversations with friends, I've been in like the theater world and performing world for a while, like when I was in high school and college, and a little bit afterwards too, but I always had the idea of maybe doing drag, but I never had the confidence to really like jump in and do it, because especially in the day and age of RuPaul's Drag Race, you have, these celebrity drag queens that look so perfect and polished that like you're nervous to even get started because you know you can't do those things that they do. So I actually had my drag name chosen like over 10 years ago. Like the however, I forget how long Instagram's been around now, but whenever I made my Instagram handle, I also grabbed the Instagram handle for Helena Boy because I knew this is the name that I want. At some point in my life, I'll have the confidence to try this out. Um, and so yeah, so I had the Instagram handle saved for forever, and there was just nothing in that account. And then I moved to San Francisco and met my current boyfriend, who is also my drag mother. And especially when it comes to makeup, really has helped me feel a lot more confident in what I can put together. Our drag aesthetic is very different. Um, Her drag is very the like beautiful blonde bombshell, and I'm the campy like sort of like I was saying, I play around with gender. So like I keep my mustache usually, and I like puns. I'm a big fan of Jim Henson and the Muppets. So I just puns in general are something that I always find really funny. So any of my performances, I'm gonna grab whatever song I'm using. I'm gonna take some of the words and make you think about it in a different way. Um, and so yeah, I do a lot of like sort of either slapstick or really like shocking stuff. I like to put on a big theatrical show. I usually do reveals. Like the last night I dressed up as the Queen of Hearts, and if I had it handy, I'd put it on right now and rip it for you. But I had a heart wig on that was just sort of like a foam headpiece, but it was split in half, so I ripped the heart in half and had a regular wig underneath. So I like to do like theatrical stuff like that. Oh, and I can sew. So get me on Drag Race. I can sew. I can actually sew.
Saying that, what's the biggest difference between Helena Boy and Demon, and what's the biggest similarity between both?
Ah. Well, you can see I put hell imagery in both of them, or demonic imagery in both of them. They they both came from a place, I guess, of really trying to help kind of empower and give me more confidence in things. Really with like my body. When it comes to it, I mean, Demon in a little more obvious ways of getting me more confident with my body, but with Helena Boy, especially like keeping my mustache. There are some performances where if I'm not wearing my breastplate, I'll have my hairy chest showing. Um, like little things like that are like giving me more empowerment with those things that I used to feel so ashamed about. Um, and also with Helena, she, like I was saying, like playing around with gender, I like the idea of kind of taking the construct of gender and showing my audience like there's a lot of things that a woman can be or a man can be. Um, yeah.
When you say Demon that you show off a little bit of your hairy chest or something about Demon, do you, when Helena Boy is performing on stage or doing something, do you always leave something connected with Demon like on her, or it's just sometimes a coincidence when you leave some parts, you know what I mean, of your body showing off? Or
Um, it's not all, I mean, the mustache for the most part has been something that I've kind of kept as a signature.
mm-hmm.
Who knows, maybe one day there'll be a look that I really just need. I just feel like I need a perfect feminine face for it, but I like my mustache. Um, but yeah, that's really I would say the connector between the two would be because that's the thing on my face, the hair. But otherwise, yeah, I would, because there are certain looks that I do for Helena. Like I like cosplay. I'm a bit of a comic book geek. So there will be times where if I'm like diving deep into a character for her, then obviously there's not really much of a connection going on with Daemon in there.
I see.
But to your point, yeah, I guess I'm not purposely connecting the two, but yeah, there are some times where they're kind of meeting in the middle in a way.
I see. All right. Okay, next question is, what scares you the most about your future?
Ooh, that is a good question. I guess the idea of maybe like not having enough time, meaning like with certain people. I guess like now I'm finally at that point in my life where I have had to deal with the passing of certain loved ones. So I guess now if I really think about like what existential thing I dread when it comes to me personally, it would be that. If I was thinking for the world, climate change. I'm one of those people where I try not to think about it too much because then I go into a panic attack mode when it comes to the climate and the world. But yeah, those would be my top two. If it's about the world, climate change. If it's about me personally, it's freaking out that I don't have enough time with the people I love.
And all your family, they're all back in New York?
Yeah, either New York or Greece. I'm Greek. So yeah, it's either New York or Greece, really, yeah.
Oh, wow, amazing. Very good. Next question. Okay, Dima from San Francisco. Next question is, what was the last thing that made you smile genuinely?
Oh. I mean, I feel like I just keep on talking about Helena Boy, but it's just because last night I feel like the performance went really well and everybody did such a. I love being able to watch drag. I'm such a fan of drag. So last night I got to perform early on in the night, which meant that I got to sit back and just relax and watch everything. So yeah, last night was just a really fun night where I was just smiling genuinely. I actually, you know that time where like, you know, you're at an event and you're smiling so long that the next day you've got those muscles. That's what I'm kind of feeling today a little bit because I was smiling so much watching everyone.
Oh, saying that, let's say that I'm gonna come to see Helena Boy for the very first time. What's something different that she offers that I cannot see anywhere else? Something special, something unique that's I just can see in Helena Boy.
Well, like I said before, no matter what number I do, I try to take the words that you're hearing in the song, or if I'm taking like an audio clip from a movie or TV show or whatnot, I'm gonna take those words and try to flip them in some way to make you think of them differently. I mean, with any language, but especially I feel like with English, there's so many meanings to words, so you can just change the meaning without even changing the words. So that's something that no matter what number you're gonna see from me, the words that are coming out are gonna be performed in a way that you weren't necessarily expecting them.
That'd be good. I like that. Next question. Right, next question is, oh, this is a tough one, all right? How do you think we'll die, or how would you like to die if you could choose?
Well, I am in my 30s, finally attempting to do drag, and I'm trying to train myself to be able to do death drops. So I have a feeling that I might kill myself doing, or wait, sorry, a dip. Not a it's supposed to be called a dip, not a death drop. So I have to keep correcting myself. So I have a feeling that that might be the way that I die. But if I could choose, I would love to go. I mean, this is gonna sound kind of sad, but I try to take it as like a happy thought. One of my grandmothers relatively recently passed away, and she passed away. She had a stroke, but it was on the beach, her favorite beach in Greece, and from what I understand, it happened quickly. So it's just like that's kind of what I if I could pick, it would be that. Just nice and quick, and I'm on my favorite beach.
Are you afraid of dying or something that doesn't bother you?
I mean, yeah, with my thing earlier about not having enough time with the people, that's definitely a fear of mine. I'm not maybe the type of person that dreads it every day or makes me like stay cloistered. I try to make sure that like, as much as I can, I live for today. I definitely procrastinate. I'm not perfect. But yeah, it's not something that I try at least to not let it be something that like cages me or.
As you're saying, you're half Greek, Demon. Did you ever live in Greece or no? Did you spend some time there for your life or not?
No, I'm like first and a half generation. So I'm 100% Greek. But just my dad was born there. My mom was born here. And here I mean as in just the United States. She was born in New York. And yeah, I've been to Greece a lot. It's been a long time, especially I was supposed to go in 2020. Some little thing happened that year. I wonder what.
Yeah, something very little that affect the whole world.
But yeah, it's been a long time. So hopefully I'll be able to go back because I haven't, other than like phone calls and things, I haven't seen my family that lived there in a really long time. But yeah, no, I've never lived there. Only New York, a little bit in Boston when I was in college, and then out here in San Francisco.
All right. Next question. Let's do it. Right, I was checking your profile a little bit, and there were two things there that got my attention, okay? It says there, full-time Twitch, yeah?
Say that again?
Does it say right? Full-time Twitch or full-time... Oh. Does it say right? Full-time Twitch, yeah? And the other thing as well says, puppy learning new tricks every day. Are you okay to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
So tell me.
Well, I mean, it's really just I was just trying to be clever with my wordplay there. Switch is just referring to being like dominant or submissive when in the bedroom, the boudoir. So yeah, I, depending on the situation, can be either. Yeah, I'm a part of have you ever heard of AIDS Life Cycle?
Oh, it's an event that had some process that they cycle from.
Yeah,
I had someone on the show actually who participates from San Francisco. He does that on this. It's like non-found to raise money for the AIDS. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm involved in that as well.
Oh wow!
And the team that I'm on, they're called the Petal Pups. So they're like a pup team. I mean, really, they're just a like a sex positive, kink positive team. But they've used that as our like, funny name. So I am part of the pup community loosely. I mean, I don't know how well you know about like the pup kink scene. I'm not really that deep into it. I'm just involved in this group. Okay. So I'm a pup, and so I just was being fun with a pup learning tricks every day.
I loved it. That's why I was like, I need to make a note of that.
I'm a very sex positive person. So yeah, just putting that out there in my profile right away, just like as you come in, like knowing like, yeah.
Very good. Okay, next question is, if someone offered to tell your future, would you accept it or not? And why?
Ah. It would be really, really tempting. I would like to say I would refuse. I don't know if it really. I feel like none of us really know because those hypotheticals, it's like, well, it's so fanciful that you can't. But if you knew for a fact that they were really going to give you your future, it would be really hard to say no. But I would like to think I would say no because I feel like then, no matter what they said, I would like just. I feel like it would then put you into more of a chaotic spin in your mind. So I'd like to think I'd say no. I'd like to hope that I'd be strong enough to say no.
I think all of us, we have this temptation of seeing it or know a little bit about what's going to happen, or, you know what I mean, have a taste of the future. You know what I mean? I think all of us have this temptation for sure.
Right, because then if it's a good thing, then you'd be scared like, wait, so then now that I know, am I going to do something that then like makes that future not happen? So
I know.
yeah.
It can trick a little bit the past, our future, for sure. Next one. Right, next question for you is, what 3 things would you like to be remembered?
I mean, just to get it out of the way, Helena boy. I mean, now that, like I said, she was a decade in the making, so now that she's finally here, I would love to get to a point where like, I don't necessarily actually want to be on TV with her, but just to get to a point where like my community knows her name and like there's a show happening and somebody actually reaches out to me going, "Oh, I want Helena to be there." That to me would mean like, okay, I've reached my pinnacle now. Great. So yeah, that would be one for sure. I am also a bit of a writer, so I would like to think that at some point I would maybe get something published. So that would be nice. I don't know. I guess I like to think that I give everyone the same sort of respect. I feel like there's a lot of people that approach situations with assumptions. And again, I know I'm not perfect, but I try to make a conscious effort, especially when I meet new people, to not make any assumptions about them. So I would like to think that because I'm making that conscious effort, that it's maybe being seen. So yeah, I would say those would be my 3.
Good, very good. Right, I have 3 questions left for you, okay? Let's do it. But before the next one, as I can see how much you appreciate and love living in San Francisco, but what's the challenging part of living there in your opinion?
Oh, the cost. That's an easy one. San Francisco is expensive. Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a very progressive city. And there's so many great things about it, but there are definitely a lot of things economically that need to change. I don't know how much you know about the home. I mean, every city has a housing issue, but the San Francisco, it's really bad. I mean, I don't know when you compare other major cities to each other where it lines up, but I know San Francisco is one of the worst. Just the economic disparity. So I would say that's easily the hardest part of San Francisco, is just being able to afford to live in this area.
But why? It's just because it's one of the very let's say, it's a city where everyone goes. It's a city where there's a lot of tourists. That's why it's so expensive to live there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know the specific answer, but yeah, that sounds right to me. Is that like because of the demand? I know that demand always increases price. So I think, yeah, because it's a city that's so sought after to live here, that they know they could raise the rents and that they'd find someone who would be willing to pay that. Um, yeah, there are affordable neighborhoods, um, but yeah, those are getting fewer and fewer far between, unfortunately. You're gonna have to like live in the outskirts to be able to afford to live in. Yeah.
And I believe that being gay in San Francisco, it's 100% safe. You can be yourself, you can express yourself the way you are, or there is always something that can happen. You're not 100% safe in a way. For example, I
Yeah.
live in London. Yeah, London is one of the well-known cities for being free. People can be themselves. But time to time, we hear some news that, you know what I mean, someone being, you know, arrested or because did something wrong to you know, someone a gay community, or someone being just literally pushed for anything that's happened. And sometimes you go like, my god, it's London, why you still see those things? In San Francisco the same as well?
Oh yeah. It's, I would say, probably in comparison to major cities, it's one of the most gay friendly.
Yeah,
But to your point, yeah, I feel like any city that you go
there's
to, it's, or well, really anywhere in the world that you
yeah.
go to, you're as a queer person, you're never 100% safe, which is a sad fact. Um, like I know there's I forget, a month ago now, maybe, or a handful of weeks ago, the bar that I performed my drag performance at last night, uh, like a month ago or so, someone was leaving there and got shot. Now he's fine, didn't die, but he got shot.
Wow.
So yeah, it's, thankfully, like I said, San Francisco, it does, those stories don't happen as often as you might hear in other cities.
Yeah.
Um, but it is something that, and that's like I said, I'm from the New York area. That's another big city that people
Mhm.
view as like the big gay friendly city. Plenty of people that would do really vicious things to anyone in the queer community in New York. Um, and Boston, I went to college in Boston. I went to college there during the height of the, marriage equality. So I'm thinking like I'm going to the gay mecca, like everyone's going to be so wonderful there, and realizing just how conservative Boston really is. Um yeah, there was some, yeah, it was definitely a culture shock when I went in thinking like, oh, this is going to be great, and oh.
It's not like that. Oops, it's not like this way I was expecting. There's always this feeling.
But then it also, on the silver lining, it then pushed me to feel that, I feel like, is part of what made me want to get involved more in the communities that I live in. Because in college, I was part of the Gay Straight Alliance, and I was a co-president at one point. Um, Actually, fun tidbit. At one point, I was the co-president of the Gay Straight Alliance on campus, and the president of the musical theater group. So I liked to joke that the incoming freshmen that year, when they received their paperwork to look through all the different student groups that they can sign up for, they saw my big long Greek name on on the gay group and the musical theater group, and they're like, "Who is this?" Like, I just probably just by my name just gave off flames to them. Is what I'm picturing in my mind.
Next question for you is, what's something you wish you could do every single day?
Well, I will keep it PG, and I will just say that I will pick a good wholesome answer. Uh, I love cheese, and I wish I could eat cheese as much as I could. Uh, if you ever take me to, I don't know if, have you ever heard of Costco? Because I know that's like an American store.
Castro, it rings a bell, but I'm not
It's
familiar.
really all, it's just like a big like supermarket sort of like grocery
Okay.
outlet, but the big thing about them is that you get things in bulk. So whenever you buy things from them, each item is in bulk. um Anytime I go to that store, I leave with like $100 worth of cheese. So I don't allow myself to go to Costco.
Any specific one or any kind of cheese is your favorite?
I mean, I'm a stereotypical Greek. I love my feta.
Ooh. Two questions left for you. Let's do it. Right, but before the next question, let's see if you could pick just one performance that you've done, Helena Boyle have done, that you go like, okay, that was a performance that I will always remember for some reason, because it was special for some reason. Which one that would be and why?
I mean, it would probably be my first performance. Just because, I mean, you're always going to remember your first, that energy of walking out for your first performance. I hated the way I looked just because I had such a cheap wig on. I mean, I still have cheap wigs, but yeah, it was really fun. It sort of started this trend that I didn't realize would become a thing with me. So I'll sometimes have like a backup dancer, or dancer loosely. I'm not like, I dance, but I'm not like a boom boom pow dancer. But it just keeps happening that anytime I put together a number that involves somebody doing it with me, I always end up maiming them. I mean, fake maiming, not real hurting them. But they end up becoming my victim in some kind of way during the performance. And it started with that first performance. It was a number where I was pretending to pull people's hearts out. And that just started a trend where I just realized every time I invite a friend to be a part of a number with me, they end up being my victim. I mean, that happened last night too. My Queen of Hearts number that I did last night, I had a victim for that. I mean, she's famous for Off With Her Head. Of course I had to have a victim.
People are looking at your performance like this. Oh my God, who is gonna like use tonight?
Yes, pretty much.
Daemon, saying that people watch the interview, would you like to start a career as a drag queen or come out with a new performer? What would be your best piece of advice?
Just do it. I mean, like the pressure I put on myself, like when I was saying earlier, like Helena was like 10 years in the making. It really, I shouldn't have waited that long to at the very least start practicing. So like, don't, kind of to the point that I guess I made earlier when I was talking about something about not being your own victim and getting in your own way. Just really, that is, I think, anyone who is involved in art or anything involving creativity, I feel like that is one of our biggest issues, is being our own worst critics. And then by doing that, we'd end up stopping ourselves from doing anything. I mean, the same thing with my writing or my performing. Like, I'm the thing that stops me more so than other people. So as long as you don't stop yourself, you'd be surprised at how much you can do.
Sometimes we can be our biggest enemy. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you just need to control that and just let it go. Just do it.
Inner saboteur.
Next question for you is: what do you consider most romantic?
Oh. Well, when we talk about like love language, I tend to show my love through touch and small gestures. So I think as much as anyone loves gifts, I mean, sure, getting something pretty is great. But I think I feel the most romance in a situation when I see someone going out of their way to do something for me, especially if I know for a fact it's something they don't want to do. They're doing it for me, and I know that they don't want to do that thing, but they're doing it anyway. To me, that screams romance.
Do you consider yourself to be a romantic person?
Yeah. I like to I mean, if it hasn't been apparent through the interview, I am a very theatrical kind of person. So my mind, if I have an idea, um I tend to not just like go with my first thought. I'll have an idea and then I'm like going in multiple directions for a little while until I'm like, okay, and this direction is the best one, and then I'll just explode with it. Um, so my mind can sometimes be a bit chaotic, but but yeah, no, I like to think that I like to think of myself as a romantic at least. Yeah.
Amazing. Ready for the last one?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. Last question. But before the last one, tell me a little bit about your career as a model.
Oh. I mean, well, that's I guess going to what I was talking about earlier with Daemon being a persona that's helped me be more comfortable with my own body. It's something more recent that I've started. It was actually right before the pandemic that I started my demon persona, and then the pandemic happened, so didn't really get to start doing things the way I originally thought I was gonna like jump in. Um, and then worked with a few people where like over Zoom I'd be able to like pose and they can draw. And then as things started getting better with the pandemic, I started meeting up with different photographers. But yeah, it's something that's been like with Helena, it's something like more recently that I've actually jumped into finally. Um, but yeah, it all stemmed from just trying to be more confident with myself. Um, yeah.
All right. Last question for you is, if you won the lottery, what would be your first big splurge?
Probably. Well, not probably. It would definitely be real estate. I'm just trying to figure out where. uh Yeah, I don't probably somewhere tropical. I love my winter as well. I'm a skier. I like skiing. Um but but yeah, I would probably my first splurge would be like it doesn't have to be a huge home, just owning a home somewhere tropical that I know I could go to when I want to.
Amazing. Very good. Okay, Dima, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Family.
Love.
One word for money.
Word for money. Oh, cash.
One word for love.
Passion.
Life.
Freedom.
Sex.
Well, I guess kink was the first word that popped into my mind. Images, but kink was the first word.
All right. Politics.
Oh, I don't know. Passion was another, I guess, the first word that popped into my head again for that. So yeah.
Religion.
Trouble.
Fear.
I guess just because of our, I don't know why, but I guess because of our conversation, cage was the first word that came to mind with that.
Okay. Friendship.
Warmth.
Desire.
Lust.
Regrets.
Oh. pain is the first. That's not a really good one, but pain is the first word that comes to mind.
Okay, not right or wrong. Wish.
Oh, I don't know, dreams.
Happiness.
Love, I guess, is again the word that comes to mind with that. Yeah.
One word for New York.
Chaos. I always tell people you need patience for New York.
One word for Greece.
I could say chaos for them too.
In a different way. One word for San Francisco.
Oh, hills. I don't know why that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
And the last one now, Helena Boy. One word.
Ooh. Well, puns was the thing, because like I keep saying, like, puns are what you're gonna get from my performances. So that's like, I guess, like the key. If I could pick one word, I guess, like pun. You're gonna get a pun from me.
Amazing. Right, let's pretend I'm going to meet the lovely Jeffrey, your boyfriend, your partner. By the way, is he okay? He's all right? Yeah?
Oh yeah, he's doing great. Yeah.
Well, say hello from me, please. He was so sweet when I was talking to him to do the interview with you. Oh, lovely. If I would meet him for a coffee and I would ask him, Jeffrey, tell me, what is the most beautiful thing about Daemon, and what's something that he still needs to work on? What he would say?
Oh. Well, I would hope that the first part he would say that I'm considerate. Because like I said, I try to approach situations consciously thinking about what I'm doing in this situation. So I would like to think that he would say that that was the thing I do, like, well already. I'm sure there's plenty of things he would say that I need to do better. But he does get on, I mean, to my point about like trying to be more confident with myself. There are many reasons why I love him, but he builds my confidence by like all these like small little things, but just like every day he doesn't like lose a moment to like point out when I'm looking good or doing something good, or so he knows that I'm down on myself, that I can be my own worst enemy. So I could easily see where he would probably pick that one out. He's like, he needs to be a little easier on himself.
And if I would meet Helena Boy for a coffee and I would ask her, define Daemon in one word, what she would say?
Like, slut.
Right? If she says so.
Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that for you. That's probably the word she would use.
Let's play now Daemon and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Daemon, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. So I know this is a bit of a cliche, but again, me being a comic geek, it's a question that I like asking people, and it does kind of get an insight into who you are. If you could have a superpower, what superpower would you have? If you could choose, I mean.
Right. Okay, Daemon, it's something that if I had the superpower of open, closed people's minds, you know, those people, they have this closed minds. If I could go around and just touch their head, goes like, okay, from now on, you're going to see the world in a different way. You're going to open your mind. You're going to go like, you know what? If I see something that I don't understand, or maybe I've never seen before, something that maybe makes me feel uncomfortable somehow, okay, it's fine. I just look at it, I respect it. I think if people would have this a way of approaching life, include me, include you, include all of us. Of course, we have our thing that sometimes we go like, it's a bit different. Oh, it's a bit, you know what I mean, uncomfortable maybe. But I think if we had the habits of look at it, or maybe even if you don't feel comfortable, just, you know what I mean, go like, you know what, it's okay. If this person is being happy, express themselves this way, I can see the joy there. For me, it's a bit strange, it's a bit confusing, but okay, that's fine. Let me carry on. Let this person be the way it makes this person happy. You know what I mean? If I had the superpower of educating somehow, open those people minds, you know what I mean? Because the thing is, I think all of us, we have those blocks in our minds. You know what I mean? We have those, but we try to improve that. We try to, understand that, or to change maybe. But I think the worst is some people that they don't want to be educated. They just go like, okay, that's the way I've been raised, or that's the way I see, that's what I think, that's it. The other part is wrong. I think that's the problem, is that, you know what I mean? So if I had this power of just going around and touching their heads, go like, you know what, let's be more flexible, more understanding, I think the world would be in a better place. And if you allowed me to maybe as well to have a second power, if I could speak every single language in the whole world, I'll be very happy.
I would love that too. Oh my God, yeah.
Imagine sometimes you travel to other countries. Of course, you can speak English, you can express yourself, but you're never gonna, you know what I mean, talk or understand the same way they do, the same way they talk. So if I would have the superpower just to get into their language and talk like fluently the way they do, oh my God, I think I would learn a lot.
That too, yeah. Yeah, knowing like the slang terms and
yes,
all the little I would love that too. Yeah.
Yesterday, I went to a barbecue yesterday to a Brazilian friend's house, and we were talking about that. And I told him that I knew a French guy who was living very close where he lives now, and he lived in Brazil for a few years. And sometimes when I was talking Portuguese with him, he was saying some slangs that I was like, my God, how do you know that? Even some Brazilian people, I talk to them, it's impossible for you to learn that. Where did you get that from? You know what I mean? And it was so fascinating talking to him about that, because like, my God, you just need to believe in their country to know those local slangs. Yeah. But my first superpower will be the biggest one that I would like to have. You know what I mean? Just going around and try to open people's minds. You know what I mean? That would be my biggest one.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that is a superpower that would definitely change the world for good easily. Yeah.
I think we will live in a more peaceful place. I think, you know what I mean. We'll be more considerate for other people. We'll be more understanding, and everyone will be more together in a way. For sure.
Yeah, I think we have a tendency, and everything we see, especially if it shocks us.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to internalize it and make it about us when it often has absolutely nothing to do with us.
Absolutely.
But like, I love your idea of like, you just are able to touch them and you get them to you're not changing anything. All you're doing is getting them to realize this has nothing to do with you. Open your mind and remove yourself from it and just appreciate it for what it is. Or if you don't appreciate it, just recognize it for what it is. Yeah.
As I said, we have those blocks. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes you need to understand how to deal with that. Question yourself. Don't instead of you judging or, you know what I mean, attacking. Just step back. Say, okay, why I'm feeling like that? Why this is disturbing me? Why? Let me try to educate myself. Let me try to understand it. Even though if I don't want to go, let me move it on. Let me just turn around and go. You know what I mean? And live my life and live the way things are. I think that's will be for sure. Daemon, did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you. Your questions were great. Very insightful.
Thank you so much for being kind, for being sweet as well. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know how nowadays we are so busy with our lives. And sometimes for me, when somebody take their time to me, for me, it's like a gift, because I know how we are busy right now. Like the moment we live, you know what I mean? Everything's happening. We have our own things. Thank you so much. But before you go, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
I mean, I kind of already said it earlier, but Something that I know I need to be better about too is, like I was saying before, not getting in your own way. Really trying to not listen to anything in your mind that's telling you can't do something, unless you're saying you can't do it because you're gonna negatively impact other people. Then your answer should always be to that voice, shut up. The only time you should listen to that voice is if it's keeping you from doing something that'll negatively impact people around you. But as long as you're not doing that, then don't listen to those voices in your head that are telling you can't do something. And like I said, that's something I need to instill in myself more too.
And sometimes when this voice is so loud and strong, go like, you know what? I'm going to take it as a positive thing, and I'm going to go against it. I'm going to challenge this voice. Tell me I can't. So, okay, let me show you that I can. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for the interview. Regards to Jeffrey, and we keep in touch. It was a pleasure to connect with you, okay? Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
You
Take
as well.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.